Hello everybody, this is Lady Kaylah here, and welcome to the Geekdom. Today I am going to do another Game of Thrones Season 4 episode review because I'm behind if you haven't noticed. I'm not sure if I'm going to get these all out by the time the new season comes out, but if that happens, new season is going to trump this season, and I'll probably just end up finishing this later. But let's get on to the reviews. I will incorporate bits from the book and while I'm doing the show, so that's just how I do it. And if you don't like that, then don't continue watching. And with that being said, I'm just going to get right into it. This is Season 4, Episode 5, First of His Name. And, yeah. Anyways, in King's Landing, we have Tommen as king, and honestly, I am kind of sad because in the book, Cersei has a prophecy that she would outlive her children, basically, and even though sometimes the prophecies they don't happen how they seem, or they don't really happen, you know, the way they're presented all the time, because prophecies are, like, very cryptic. I honestly think that Tommen isn't going to live very long, because we have so many people contesting for the throne, and so much stuff going on that I honestly don't think he's going to survive, which is sad, because I think he'd actually be a really good king. Even though he's young, we have Tywin, who would be behind him, who, even though Tywin's a bad guy and he's not exactly merciful, he's a pretty good ruler. He's going to make sure everything's kept in check, he's going to make sure everything's balanced, and because Tommen is so kind and genuine and sincere, that he wouldn't let Tywin do anything cruel through him. And then also you'd have Marjorie at his side, who would tell him, you know, to be himself and to, you know, do things that good leaders would do. And we've seen Marjorie be a good queen. She makes sure that the poor are getting taken care of, which is something Tywin wouldn't really care about, but Marjorie would care about that. And so you'd have this balance between a good leader keeping everything in check and then a good leader in a sense that the people feel taken care of, and and so Tommen would be a really well-loved king, I think, but I honestly don't think he's going to survive. The queens, Marjorie and Cersei, I mean, technically Marjorie's not queen yet, but I'm calling them the queens. They're just playing like a game. Like, Cersei does not like Marjorie, does not trust her, but does she even trust anyone? And Marjorie's pretending that she's not really interested in the throne, even though we've already seen her go to Tommen at night trying to secure her place as queen. So, I don't really know what game they're playing, but I know that they are straight up just lying to each other's faces. And then we find out that the Lannisters are broke. They were making their money through the gold mines, I guess, that they had control over, and they do not have anything being pulled out of them anymore. They've gone dry, and so the Lannisters literally just have no money that's going to be coming in anymore. Like, they have what they have now. So, yeah. And so this Iron Bank keeps getting brought up. The Iron Bank has been brought up since the beginning of the series. We've had that hanging over King's Landing's head for a while. And so I'm thinking maybe that will be the end of the Lannister Baratheon reign that's going on there. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Iron Bank's gonna come in somehow, sometime, uproot whoever happens to be there and owes them money, and then that would leave the Iron Throne open for somebody else to come in. I don't know. We'll see. And then I just wanted to point out this line that Cersei says when she's talking to Oberyn, where she's discussing Myrcella, and then she's just like, everywhere in the world they hurt little girls. And I don't know if you have been following me very long, but I did a whole video on Cersei, and I find Cersei as one of the most sympathetic characters, and if that line does not move something in you, I don't know what does. Like, it's just, I love the female characters in Game of Thrones, and so I hate when I hear the Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire is sexist or whatever, because I have never seen more well-written characters, and this is just commentary on how girls get treated, and Cersei is one of the few characters who, even though she is forced to follow the role that she's given as a woman, constantly just, she doesn't really speak out against it, but every part of her soul hates it. And anyway, I just really love that line, and every once in a while I'll pull out a line that I really like and talk about it, but sorry, let me just close my door. Anyway, going on, we have Dany, and nothing really significant happens other than, well, it is significant, but nothing, big happens that gets a lot of time spent on it. But basically, we find out that Dany's not going to go to Westeros anytime soon. The little bits of land that she's conquered are already falling apart, and she's like, I'm not going to go to Westeros and conquer whatever is going on there and then have it fall apart. I need to be able to, practice being a ruler, basically, which is kind of messed up if you think about it, because it's just like, these are human beings' lives that you're practicing on. But that's what she wants to do. She wants to make sure that she knows how to rule and prove herself before she moves on to Westeros. So we don't really have to worry about her contesting for the Iron Throne for a little bit. She's going to be off doing her own thing, and then everything else over there is going to get solved or whatever, and so we'll see. We have Sansa, who is getting a lot more time, but she's still in these situations where she is powerless, and I love following her. We find out so much through Sansa's chapters, and she is going to be exposed to so much, and she's going to be learning and absorbing so much that who knows, what kind of character she's going to become. But I love her. I've always loved her because she was always head in the clouds, escapist Sansa. That's what she does. She has those tendencies, and I love it because, I don't know, I grew up with escapism. I just love it. I love reading, I love playing video games, I love just doing anything but participating in real life. And that's Sansa, and that's why I love her so much. She's just realistic, to me at least, because I can identify. But anyway, she is literally in the safest place she can possibly be. Dany and her dragons, who are the only ones that can have any entry into the Vale, are not going to be coming for a while. And so Sansa is literally just in the safest place she can be. No one can touch her, and Peter right now has complete control over her. And Peter, if you want to go with the Game of Thrones analogy, has all the pawns under his control, and she's one of them. Sansa is a pawn, and until Sansa can realize that and maneuver her own pieces, that's what she's going to be. Peter and Lysa get married, and Lysa, we find out through her, is the one that caused the whole mess that happened. She's the one, because of Peter, that killed Jon Arryn, her husband, and told Catelyn that it was the Lannisters. And so Ned Stark went to the south, which is something he didn't want to do, and then found out a whole bunch of stuff he didn't want to find out, and Honor told him that he had to do something about it, and this is what happened. That is the start of the books, is this. And it was all Peter. And so, and we find out that, Lysa has this sick, even though we know she's just sick because we've seen her interact with her son before or whatever, but she's sick about Peter. She loves him so much. Apparently, according to the show, you don't get very much, but they've slept together before. She says, we've had our marriage night many years ago. And because she calls it a marriage night, it implies virginity, so I'm just going to go into the books here. She did lose her virginity to Peter. She wasn't engaged to him. She wasn't even considered as a match for him. She was just so in love with him while he was in love with Catelyn. And I guess he slept with her because she reminded him of Catelyn, Sansa, which he's going after right now. But so yeah, they did sleep together. And in the books, I believe she had his child, but didn't have the child, but was forced to abort it, I think, in the books. So that's her history with Peter, and she's just completely in love with him, even though he was not interested in her. And as we see, the way he interacts with her, he's likely not interested in her to this day. And I was about to spoil stuff right now. But anyway, that's her history with him. She's just obsessed with him, and as we see later, she like grabs Sansa's hands and is like squeezing them because she suspects something between her and Peter. It's just like, Peter is a creepy little tiny man, like nobody wants him, like only you, Liza, calm down. And so yeah, that's Liza. She's crazy. And then that aside, we have Beyond the Wall, which is a whole mess of, this is finally where Bran and Jon and all these other loose ends are starting to get tied up, because I said last time Jon's going to have to go over there to save Bran, but things don't quite happen the way that you would think they would, because Bran ends up almost getting kidnapped, and I don't have to explain all this because you guys watched it, and it just ends up with them getting separated from Jon, but still getting saved, and so Bran can't go with Jon because Jon will not let him go. It's just like, okay, you're having these random dreams and you have to go north. That doesn't make any sense. And so Bran had to like sneak away and continue on his own journey, his own path, and Jon's taking care of business. Like, Jon has finally just fully adopted the fact that he's going to be a member of the Night's Watch, and he's going to have that Stark, or Ned Stark, honor about it. He's going to be like, this is my duty, this is what I am, and he's going to go for it. Just like a lot of the Starks will have this stupid Ned Stark honor about them sometimes. And Jon has it. And we admire Ned for that. I'm not saying it's stupid, like, to brush it off. We do admire that quality. So they still end up being separated, and so that's what's going on beyond the wall. Like, Jon's probably going to continue, despite his love for his brother Bran and maybe hearing about it or maybe suspecting that Bran was there, he's going to still have to do his duty as a brother of the Night's Watch, and Bran's going to have to go and do his thing because he keeps having these prophecies and green dreams and all this good stuff that's going on. So he has to go. Bran, we see he has like really good warging powers through Hodor. I feel bad for Hodor. Like, imagine, snapping out of whatever state you're in and seeing that you've killed a man. Oh, poor Hodor. Anyway, that aside, I don't think this episode was too crazy. A lot of it was self-explanatory, but that was my commentary on it. I know I didn't cover every character who showed up. I don't really like doing that. I like just pulling out pieces that I want to talk about and then discussing them. So go ahead in the comments below and discuss whatever you want to discuss. Ask me whatever you want to ask. And in the description below is the links to all the things that you can do outside of YouTube, like my Facebook, my Tumblr, my Twitter, all that in the description below. So thank you for your time. Bye.